This is Invasive Part 2. Part 1 can be watched in the description. But basically what had happened was, Kay broke into a rich man's house, Pierce Patton. He carried out inhumane experiments on people in the quest to cure cancer. Currently, he hits the headlines and his dark secret spills out to the public. Pierce Patton kind of foreign though. Since Kay is the one who killed him, her identity remains classified for her safety. She watches the news on her phone, but her father Brian tells her to give it a rest. They are set for an island, a trip Brian planned, hoping it will help clear her head. A few minutes into the ride, Kay drifts off and has a nightmare. Pierce appears and tries to strangle her. "Choke me, Daddy!" Scared, she wakes up immediately and exits the cabin. As the island comes into view, she questions her father about how he could afford the trip when they're poor, destitute, impoverished. And of course, she ain't got signal. When Kay gets on the island, she scans her hotel room to ensure there are no security cameras. She even takes a tour around the mansion and roughly sketches its blueprint. Later, while at the gym, she sees a news update. Perry Patton, Pierce's father, and the man who funded his experiments, has just been cleared of all charges, even though there's evidence linking him to the case. It annoys the F out of her and triggers a hallucination of Pierce's late girlfriend, so Kay socks her in the mouth. Before leaving the gym, she converses with a friendly, British lady, Alex, while her father swims at the pool. He gains the attention of a leather-faced oldie named Mindy, but she's clearly not his type. Immediately, this ugly hoe jumps on the next guy she sees and flirts with him. Later that afternoon, Brian chills with Kay at the beach and is surprised that she's got a satellite phone. Kay tells him about the case, but he tells her not to obsess about it. Things take a turn when Kay brings up something deeper, accusing him of disappearing on her after her mom died. Brian, clearly hurt, claps back, reminding her that she nearly got herself killed by secretly living in Pierce's house. That evening, the mood softens. Brian approaches her again, but this time with an apology. He admits he hasn't been there for her like he should have, and says he planned this trip to try and make things right. Kay listens, and though it's not easy, she's open to giving him a chance. She even suggests they get dinner together. He smiles and agrees. At the cafeteria, Kay can't help but notice how empty the hotel feels. Just a handful of people around. Not long after, Alex shows up. At first, Kay doesn't say much, but after a little nudging from Brian, she gives in and invites Alex to join their table. They enjoy their time together, sharing stories and laughing, especially when Alex cracks a joke that gets them all going. But the mood shifts a little when Alex, while talking about her family, quietly mentions that she recently lost her brother. Both Kay and Brian fall silent after this trauma dump. Things lighten up again when Mindy calls over to them, suggesting a drinking game. Brian joins in, happy to loosen up, but Kay decides to sit it out. She stays behind and chats with Alex instead. As they talk, Kay brings up how strange it is that the hotel feels so empty. Alex agrees, pointing out that the guests don't exactly look like the type who could afford a luxury island trip. Then she casually mentions that she won her ticket in a lottery. That one line sticks with Kay. Something about it doesn't sit right. Her suspicions about the island start to grow. Later that night, Kay jolts awake from another nightmare. This time, it's her late friend Riley attacking her. She lies there in the dark, heart pounding, but Brian comes to the rescue. He spends the night watching her to make her feel safe. The following morning, all the guests head down to the beach for some fun in the water. Mindy shows up in a swimsuit that's clearly doing its best holding her bits. Brian sticks with his daughter, and they have a wonderful time at the beach. When done, Kay notices she has the wrong bag, so she switches with Alex to get hers back. Before leaving, she invites Alex to join her for dinner, and she agrees, canceling her plans with a guy, Nick. That evening, Kay starts noticing strange things. The hotel staff stare at her sussy, then are nowhere to be found, and the Wi-Fi is down. Nick shows up with the same complaint, casually mentioning that his trip was also free. Thin eyebrow Mindy chimes in too, saying her ticket was a giveaway, increasing Kay's suspicions. When she asks Brian about their tickets, he hesitates, then admits it was a gift from work. That's when it clicks for her. Someone brought them all here on purpose. Kay says they need to leave the island, but Mindy says her big back finna stay and eat all the food. Things get even weirder when she finds out Mark is Riley's father. When he confirms it, Mindy slaps him because Riley killed her daughter, Jessica. Jessica was the girlfriend of Pierce Patton. The room erupts in chaos, and it gets worse when Mindy realizes Kay is the girl who escaped Pierce Patton's house in the past. Mindy about to throw hands, but Brian steps in to calm things down. Every guest here is connected to the Pierce Patton case. Nick admits he used to work for Pierce and even testified against him in court. Panic spreads fast, with Mindy storming out, desperately looking for a way off the island. Kay finds Alex and tells her what just happened. In return, Alex tells her that her late brother was one of Pierce's victims in his experiments. With that, Kay decides to leave the island, so she dials 911 and requests a boat. Scared, she meets Mark and begs him to work on the Wi-Fi connection to get comms back online. As for Nick, he speeds off to pack his bags. Alex sticks with Mark to help set up the Wi-Fi connection. She leaves shortly to find some wires while Nick continues packing his bags. At some point, he feels like he's being watched, so he panics and sniffs some baby powder to calm down. Unfortunately, he gets stabbed in the chest when he lies to rest. Outside, while looking for Mindy, Brian apologizes to Kay for not telling her the truth about the tickets. Regardless, Kay seems pissed and convinced that he took her on the trip to ease his guilt. In the hotel, Mark goes out looking for Alex, but he finds Nick's corpse instead. Shocked, he raises an alarm and tells Kay and Brian what he saw. Both are shocked by the news and they worry about Alex's safety. Thankfully, they find her outside and inform her about Nick's death. A few minutes later, Mark spots a boat heading for the island and informs everyone. Upon reaching the shores, they are shocked to see Perry Patton and his guys. Perry is Pierce's father. Mark gets tased, and when Mindy sees this from a distance, she makes a run for her life. Albeit she doesn't run very fast. Next, Brian gets tased, followed by Kay, who faints and falls to the ground. Y'all the CGI for the taser. When Mark regains consciousness, he is greeted with immense pain, thanks to Perry's torture equipment. Perry says it's ironic that Mark sued his company even though Mark disowned his son for getting his fudge packed. Then Perry takes up a hammer and hits his head to bits. In the meantime, Kay regains consciousness and finds herself and her dad tied to a chair. Alex is there too. However, when Perry walks in, Alex laughs maniacally and reveals her true identity. Turns out she's Perry's illegitimate daughter and Pierce's sister too. The discovery leaves Kay in utter shock, but she doesn't seem surprised when Alex testifies that she killed Nick for her father. Alex's British accent also disappears. While hiding outside, Mindy gets spotted by one of Perry's men. In a panic, she lashes out, biting his ear off because she was hungry, then shoots him in the face. Desperate, she sneaks back into the hotel and jumps on the comms, threatening to kill Perry and his crew unless they get her off the island. She even criticizes how weird Pierce was. Alex volunteers to go after her, but Perry shuts her down. Instead, he tells her to stay put and keep an eye on Kay and Brian. Then he leaves with one of his guards to track Mindy down himself. As soon as he's gone, Kay tries to talk Alex down, hoping to reach whatever part of her is still sane. But Alex snaps. Without warning, she stabs Brian in the leg. Brian collapses, groaning in pain, while Kay breaks down, begging her to stop. That's when Alex's mask fully slips. Calm and twisted, she reveals the truth. She's glad her brother died, hated him even. He was their dad's favorite, and she'd always been the one left in the shadows. While she speaks, Kay cuts the cuffs on her hands and signals her father. With that, Brian keeps Alex distracted long enough for Kay to knock her out. Upstairs, Perry finds Mindy and offers to pay her off to stay quiet. While she's distracted, his guard shoots her from behind. Dying, Mindy rolls over and fires back, killing the guard before collapsing, leaving Perry stunned. He ends her. Mindy kinda ate though. He heads downstairs only to see that Brian and Kay have escaped. Alex, feeling guilty, begs for a chance to fix her mistake by finding them. Meanwhile, Kay hides Brian in a room and patches up his leg. The psycho hoe dances while playing with the gun. Then her father joins her, and he shoots Mindy's already dead body. Afterward, Kay slips out, grabs the boat keys, and stays out of sight before Alex can catch her. Just as she gets Brian moving, Perry spots them. Kay acts fast, using herself as bait so her dad can get to a safer spot. It works. She shakes Perry and finds Brian on the next floor. Back in her room, she plans their escape through the window, but Brian's discouraged. He admits he's failed her as a father. Kay, holding it together, tells him not to leave her again. That's enough to snap him out of it. Together, they toss a mattress out the window to cushion their fall. Just as Kay's about to jump, Alex shows up at the door, but Kay sneaks up and knocks her out with a tubivas cold. After jumping down, she points her gun at Alex and orders her to get up. Alex tries to talk her way out, but Kay isn't buying it. She holds her at gunpoint, looking for Brian, and finds him with Perry. Kay threatens to kill Alex if Perry doesn't let Brian go, yet Perry doesn't flinch. He even dares her to do it, leaving both of them stunned. He then gets up and shoots Brian, causing Kay to break down in tears. That's when Alex restrains her, and she gets cuffed again to a chair inside the hotel. Kay says this is all because Pierce ruined Perry's reputation, and not because he actually cared for his son. This time, Perry wants the pleasure of torturing her. He breaks her fingers, and she writhes in pain. The fact that Perry misses Pierce so much annoys Alex that she lashes out and reveals that Pierce hated him. She wonders why she's not enough for him and angrily leaves the room. Why doesn't Alex just date a much older man to cope with her daddy issues? While outside, Brian surprisingly sneaks up behind Alex and tackles her. Even with his injured leg, he manages to overpower her and wreck her face with a hand blender. A few minutes later, Perry's about to smash Kay's head in when Brian bursts in and tackles him to the ground. He fights with everything he's got, landing blow after blow until Perry turns the tide and knocks him out cold. Kay, tied to a chair, watches in horror. Desperate, she fights against the cuffs. Screaming through the pain, she squeezes her hands through the cuffs. She grabs a gun and shoots Perry in the head. But she doesn't stop there. She unloads the whole magazine into him, making sure he's really dead. After that, she checks on her father. It's a miracle that he is alive. Turns out Perry's bullet didn't hit anything vital earlier, thanks to the thick stack of coupons in Brian's wallet. Guess being a broke father finally paid off. The following morning, they arrive on the boat to exit the island permanently. Unfortunately, while Kay checks out the cabin looking for first aid, Alex sneaks up on her with a knife and questions if her father is dead. However, on seeing Brian, he tells him to jump into the ocean. While she holds a knife to Kay's neck, Kay signals Brian, pointing at the ship's anchor. That's when he reacts and pulls it, giving Alex an acrimony-style finish. Only that she gets blended by the ship's spinning blades. Her death relieves Kay, and she vows never to live in fear ever again. Honestly, this was kind of camp and enjoyable. Alex was totally unhinged. The actress who played her, along with Kay, did a tremendous job. What did you guys think of this one?
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.